Hey viewers and viewers, my name is General Red Strategist and welcome back to Sir Being Hunted, episode 750 I do believe now, so we're already, getting only another 50 episodes to go before bloody episode 800 in this series, ladies and gentlemen, so yeah, just back here for another podcast style episode I do think and all that. Still got a device piece on this island, which we'll probably try and hunt down. But no, I just thought, I actually wanted to record this episode of Sir because I've had a slight recording session this afternoon so far. Recorded an episode of Windbound, and then recorded another episode of Captain Claw, playing another, player-made custom map. And of course, if you've been watching my Captain Claw series recently, you know I've been playing through a load of Kaizo maps. And if you don't know what Kaizo is, K-A-I-Z-O, well, you sweet summer child and all that. Basically, Kaizo, I think, as far as I'm aware, from my own understanding, it's basically it's a game dev term that refers to a particular philosophy of gaming, which is all about making games that are as brutally unfair and nasty as possible. And so some delightful soul out there who likes to make custom maps for Captain Claw decided why not make a load of Kaizo versions of existing Claw levels. And of course all my viewers have been asking me to play those recently, so I've been playing through them steadily. And I just played the 5th one just before I started recording this episode, and I felt myself slowly once again slipping into insanity. So I needed something to de-stress, and I thought, you know what, Sir is a great game for de-stressing. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. So if you haven't been watching my Captain Claw series, I've actually been doing well though. People actually recommending levels to me has been really, really good, because it means I've been getting Captain Claw videos out way more frequently. Because the problem was, in the past, I'd play a Captain Claw level or two, and then, I can end up sort of not playing it again for a couple of months, something like that, and I'd be like, God, it's been a few months since I last played a Claw custom map, I better play another one. So it's been good on one level, but it's also been bad because I feel like my sanity is slowly slipping away with how horrible some of these levels are. Oh dear. But no, that's not what I wanted to talk about in this video. In fact, what I wanted to talk about in this video was some just general topics that I had on my brain. First thing I want to mention, ladies and gentlemen, you know how I've talked in the past? In fact, have I already mentioned this in one of my Sir videos? I can't remember if I have. But I know for a fact that in the past I've talked about how I've been interested in various times at getting my hands on a video game console, obviously apart from my computer, something else. And I've talked probably to Phil before about how I was thinking about getting something Nintendo, namely probably a Nintendo Switch or something. Well, I can't remember if I confirmed this in a recent Sir episode, but I am now the owner of a Nintendo Switch, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I've only got 3 games, and I haven't really dabbled in them yet, so far. I've got myself Super Mario Maker 2, I've got myself Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and I've also got Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and I'm planning to maybe try and get some more. I want to see if I can get Metroid Prime Remastered, and also maybe Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, perhaps, just to, give myself a decent little repertoire of Nintendo titles. But yeah, I now own a Switch. Because the thing is, I was debating, should I get, a Switch, or should I hold out and wait for the Switch 2 to release? And I was thinking, maybe the Switch 2 would be interesting, because apparently with the Switch 2, you can get access to libraries of old Nintendo games. And I was sort of particularly there thinking about the old Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. But then I thought, I don't know. It feels like I'd be buying the Switch 2 just for that one specific game. Whereas if I look at the original Switch, A, obviously it being the original Switch, it's going to be much cheaper. And B, there'd probably be a wider repertoire of games that I would be able to play on that. So in the end, after a bit of, oohing and ahhing, toing and froing, bit of internal debate, I thought, no, I'm not going to throw down, nearly 600 quid on a Switch 2? When actually I could throw down about 300 quid for an original Switch. So I got, the original Nintendo Switch, OLED. And it was, I've done a bit of testing of it so far, it works fairly well. Signed up to Nintendo Switch Online though, because one slightly annoying thing I discovered about Super Mario Maker 2 is that in order to access all the proper player-made custom maps in that, you need to have Nintendo Switch Online, which is annoying, but fortunately my console came with a month's free trial. So I've activated that. And the thing is, I was looking online as well, actually, on the Nintendo website. Obviously, when the trial ends, you can always upgrade then to a paid plan to get access to Switch Online. And to be honest, it's not a bad deal for a 12-month Nintendo Switch Online thing. It's less than £20. So you know what? For 12 months of Nintendo Switch Online content for less than £20, that's not bad. So I might do that when the free trial elapses. So that's something that I want to, just keep a pin on and all that. What are you guys doing? Go over to where that frigging thing was, please. But no, what I was also going to say about it was, the reason I've not really dabbled in the games that I've bought so far is just because what I want to try and do... Oh, fuck me. These guys are going to be a right bloody bunch of assholes. Just give me some more bottles I can throw. No, what I was going to say was, what I want to try and do is experiment a bit. I want to see if I can get a capture card for the Nintendo Switch, and then see if I can experiment and set up like a recording setup. Where's the fucking thing? It's around here. Is it in the tree? Oh no, there it is. Got it. Yeah, I want to see if I can get a Nintendo Switch capture card. I want to see if I can then experiment with setting up, well, putting up a recording setup in my lounge. So this would probably have to require me to get a bit creative. But in essence, what I could try is, I could try getting just one of my personal laptops. Not one of my work ones, but my personal one, rather. I said personal laptops as though I have more than one. I don't. I only have one. See if I can get my personal laptop, install Audacity on it, and then see if I can get like my boom arm microphone that I have for whenever Phil's visiting. So I have a way of setting up, collab recordings. And see if I can like set that up somewhere in my lounge, hooked up to my laptop. Because obviously with Nintendo capture cards, they would capture the footage of the gameplay, but they wouldn't get audio commentary. They get the audio of the game, obviously, but I'd have to record the actual commentary separately. So for that, like I say, I probably need to get Audacity on a laptop, get my boom microphone hooked up, positioned in a way where I could sit on my couch in my lounge, playing the Nintendo Switch on my TV, using the capture card to record the footage and the in-game audio, and using the laptop to record my commentary as I play. And then, of course, I'd have to go into my movie editing program to match those up. But I want to kind of experiment with that, because I'd love to be able to do Nintendo games on the channel, something really different. Because, like I say, I've got a couple of Nintendo games already that would probably be really interesting. I'd love to do Super Mario Maker 2, for instance, and play some player-made maps. I'd love to do Super Mario Bros. Wonder, maybe a couple of Legend of Zelda games I think would be awesome. Metroid Prime, remastered, would probably be cool as well. So there's options, and like I say, I want to experiment with that, because I totally don't have enough already in terms of games that I'd love to do on the channel, and now I've added that to the potential repertoire. Repertoire, that's not the right word, what am I talking about? Yeah, so that's something that I want to experiment with. But other news, other things that were on my brain. Oh god, Jesus, sorry, I just knocked my camera, didn't mean to do that, not my mouse even. Other stuff that I think probably is just, interesting. In terms of game news, things that I've been buying games that have been on offer on Steam recently. Got some interesting stuff. I bought a game called Guns of Fury, which, if you've not heard of it, basically it's like Metroidvania meets Metal Slug. If you look at screenshots of it, it's basically like a 2D run and gun, like Metal Slug is, except of course, it's modern. So that looks like it'd be something really fun. Also a game called Velvet Assassin, which is one that's actually been recommended to me. It's a World War II game from 2009, and apparently it's like it's a stealth sort of game that apparently is quite difficult at times. But I bought that because it wasn't too expensive, and like I say, people recommended it to me in comments on some of my past videos, and so I'm always looking for World War II games to pad out the channel and all that. What with Commandos 2 obviously being quite a substantive one so far. So Velvet Assassin is definitely on the list of things to do at some point. And the other game I actually bought from Steam recently, well, there were two others actually. One of them was, I think it was the Lingering Last Customer, a horror game. And the other one was a sort of shoot-'em-up flying game called Whisker Squadron Survivor, I think. Which, if you've not heard of that, think kind of a bit like Star Fox, except the characters are all cats or something. So, yeah, potentially something else to see on the channel at some point. So that's a little bit of gaming news, kind of, in terms of just things I've been buying recently. That's the problem when things go on offer on Steam. I end up just buying anything and everything. And at this rate, I'm never going to be able to play them all on the channel. God, I kind of want to go to the Standing Stones because I've got this freaking device piece that I need to deposit. But those guys are all in the freaking way. Maybe give them a wide berth. But, you know, other things actually that I'm interested in doing, apart from games. Obviously, Let's Watch is on the Strategist channel around Backrooms and Liminal Space content. I'm hoping tomorrow morning I might have an opportunity to do some more Let's Watch recording. So I'm hoping if I, get up nice and early and start off, well, early-ish, and what I'm hoping to do is maybe record some more Backrooms content, maybe some stuff from the Ruster channel, possibly. And then maybe also do some Propagandist channel recordings for, Ruby stuff. Because I think, did I mention last episode that Ruby Dust Queen, the fan project, its first episode, I think, has been released? So it'd be good to do that. A reaction to it for Propagandist. Maybe also make a start on this non-blind retrospective Let's Watch of Ruby Volume 1 to 4 that I've been frigging talking about for months on end and have just never got around to doing yet. So, yeah. Tomorrow morning, all being well, that should be something that I am able to do. Like I say, it'll be good, because I want to get back into the swing of doing Let's Watch content. And, speaking of Let's Watch content, particularly here on Strategist, it also occurred to me that, apart from Backrooms and Liminal Space content, I could also be doing Let's Watches of Danganronpa fan projects, because you know me, I love fucking fangans, that kind of thing. Like Despair Time, maybe, among others. Danganronpa F Shattered Hope video series, basically, which are supposed to be pretty decent, and if you're a fan of Danganronpa, they're apparently worth watching. So that's a thing. And at the same time, I've also been thinking about getting some DVDs, movies. For example, I was reading actually recently about a French sort of macabre sci-fi fantasy movie from the 90s, City of Lost Children, which sounds kind of weird. I've never seen it before, but I've heard that apparently it's a decent film. I've been wondering if that's worth maybe getting my hands on and watching at some point. As well as that, an old 1950s adaptation of Moby Dick, starring, I think, Orson Welles, and possibly Gregory Peck. I think Orson Welles is in it, I'm not sure. Maybe, I don't know. But it's like a film that I feel like I have very vague recollections of seeing when I was a kid. Seeing snippets of it, and I've been thinking, I'm obviously into all my maritime stuff. I've actually read the original novel, Moby Dick, by Herman Melville, so it'd probably be interesting to see one of the film adaptations. I know there's technically a couple of film adaptations of Moby Dick, at least. There's the 50s one that I just mentioned as the one I'd love to get my hands on. Pretty sure there was I was about to say more recent adaptation, but I don't think it is recent. An adaptation starring Patrick Stewart as Captain Ahab, I think. I seem to have recollections of that possibly being a thing. Who knows? Maybe that's something for me to look into. I don't know. Alright. Well, looking at time, ladies and gentlemen, I think that'll probably do for an episode. Yeah, just a nice filler episode to keep the odd channel schedule going, ladies and gents. So, I've been thinking about, have I got any challenge ideas that I could do sometime soon. I haven't really thought of anything good just yet. Anything nice and creative, but I'll keep racking my brains and come up with something. Who knows? Maybe Phil will make a suggestion and I'll be able to adapt that into something. Who knows? Alright, so social media links, Propagandist channel link, etc, etc, as usual down in the video description for anyone interested. If you enjoyed, a like is of course always appreciated, but other than that, I'm going to sign off now, folks. Goodbye, everybody. And our snitching has led to people dying, and this is our kind of personal hell, where we have to make up for our sins. The sins of killing them. Oh, I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't fucking ready for that. Well, the lantern spirits showed up. I didn't think they were going to be that tall, though. God. Okay. Just, hold your breath, stay still. Oh god. Oh, that's not. Oh no. see. Okay, that's what they do. Right. Okay. At least I can just get past him like that.